Okay, so when you go to the Google Plus site, you're going to download the NASA climate data. It's called Big Data Climate Change underscore NASA Data Earth underscore January 2015. That'll be the file that you downloaded. You can download that at any point. So what Patrick, our guest speaker, was so nice enough to do is he actually went to the NASA site using his connections and downloaded some of this data that they use to construct these tables. It is a lot of data. But again, you guys are data warriors. You will have no problem with this. So let's look at the first tab, CO2 levels. Okay. If you look in the first column, and you can look up here, you're going to have the year. So here's our time point, year, and then this would be month. Okay. You can also order them, and these might be easier as well. You can do the fractional year. So what they'll do is they'll take the year and then add a fraction based on the amount of time within the next year. Does that make sense? Yeah. So the bigger the number, the more current the date. Does that make sense? Okay. So here it's 1958, the third month, and this is basically the fractional year that corresponds to that. I think if you took 3 divided by 12, you would end up with a number close to this. And here's the actual date as well. And then here is the interpreted level. So this, remember, this is CO2 levels. So here are all your CO2 right here. So these are the values that they're measuring. So based on what we have learned so far in the climate section part of our course, what do you think's happening? What do you think is going to happen with these numbers as we get closer and closer to the current date? Be higher. Yes, increase. Okay, now we'll go to global temperature. This is the next tab. This one's an easy one. It's just per year. Okay, year and value. So this is actually, this value here means the change in temperature based on the mean. So something with a negative would mean that it's below what you would expect the average temperature to be. Does that make sense? Yep, okay. It's kind of like we did with the observed versus expected kind of things with the NFL a little bit. So again, we're going to graph these, and this is going to be cool because we were only able to go back to, 1945, 1946 in most cities. Here we can go back to 1880. I think that's cool. But yeah, so again, you can graph these. These go all the way down here to 2013. So we will see 2014 was measured by several different organizations as the hottest year on record ever. So we'll see if we can see the trend there. We also have sea ice. So this NH means sea ice or northern hemisphere. So this is what the sea ice looks in the northern hemisphere. Kind of like with temperature, this is the minimum ice, and this would be the area. You could maybe do the extent. This might be an interesting one too. But I think area is the big one. And then again, max here. Here is the minimum amount of ice sheet that was in that year, and here was the maximum amount, just like the temperature. The second one, this is the same information except for the southern hemisphere. And then if you go to the last tab, here's the sea level. And again, this is expressed based on the mean sea level that they were able to measure. They took all the measurements, found the mean, and everything based on these dates is a reflection of that mean. So this means that at this year, 1993, at this fractional year, this is probably, one of the first months, that the sea ice was the sea level was much lower than the average for the entire time span that they measured. Okay, does everybody understand that? Okay, so this is your data set. What I want you to do until Monday, and I'm going to leave you all alone in the good hands of David over here, is I want you to analyze these on your own. Basically, make a scientific presentation, and on Monday, I will come in and you will give me your presentation that you did to me, and I will give you a grade. But at the same time, you all will be grading each other as you're kind of, putting this presentation together. You all know how much you all contributed, and that these grades that you give are completely anonymous. So be truthful, because these are the grades that we're going to have for the class. As much as I hate grades, that's what I have to do. So, all right. So, again, this is for Monday.